All right, my tablet says that it is 5:30 a.m. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to count you in a descending manner of 3, 2, 1. At that point, you're going to take 3 deep breaths. Inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale, and then we will get started. 3, 2, 1. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is me, amazing Dr. Donna Thomas-Rodgers, daughter of Leslie Darnell Thomas, granddaughter of Arthur Jethro Evelyn II, and great-granddaughter of Levi Thomas. Welcome to your morning mental workout. Good morning, Daisy. Good morning, Lola. And good morning, Janice. Let me go ahead and review the levels so we know what's taking place. Level 1, trial level, 7-day free trial. On Instagram, you do 7 consecutive days of 60-second neural reps. After successful completion of that, you will receive an invite from me to join the subscription at level 2, and you will do 30 consecutive days of extended 60-second neural reps. Upon successful completion of 30 consecutive days, you will receive another invite from me, and it will be inviting you to YouTube level 3 rep running room, where you will do extended neural reps. Some are for a short period of time and some last all day long. That level is for 90 consecutive days. From there, you will receive an invite from me after successful completion of 90 successful consecutive days to go to level 4, where you will start inculcating neural reps with the neural doctrine of the 74 principles of real leadership. 180 successful consecutive days at level 4 will give you the ultimate invite of all invites, where you will go and graduate and elevate to level 5, and that is the Real Leader Advanced Real Leadership Programs. 365 consecutive days of RL 365. Should you have your own personal project that you want to work on, then you will choose Real Leader Resources. Those are the levels. Now, let me get to the graphic for today. And we are talking about the ventral ACC versus the cognitive ACC. Now, I know yesterday that I mentioned that. Give me 1 second because I forgot to do this. Is it going to go? Okay, there we go. Got the goal in there just to make sure that I'm doing that consistently to get to my my neural pathway of 8 days. So I know I said yesterday we were going to be talking about social judgment theory, and we're going to get to that. But yesterday, in recognizing after my open discussion, I realized we need to understand the ACC more. And then when I first started talking about the ACC, the anterior cingulate cortex, which is part of the prefrontal cortex, I didn't realize, and I had the graphic and now it's too far down on my phone. I don't think that I can grab it at this point. What you saw it several days ago. I didn't know that there were 3 ACCs. So today we will be talking about the ventral ACC and the cognitive ACC. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about the cognitive ACC and the dorsal ACC, because they are different. As I was doing more research, so I was like, okay, this live is already made. I just have to extend it a little bit more. Here's the thing. I'm always talking to chat, and I'm always gathering information. Between me just thinking and me being in my neuroscience class, things will come up, and I will say, hey, does this match this? What about this? How does this go together? And then that's how we end up with some of the content that you see. So I'm going to read to you what I texted chat yesterday, and then we're going to go through, because this is really, it was life-changing and neurologically altering for me. So here we go. Chat, I had a thought earlier this morning about the ventral ACC and the cognitive ACC. If the relationship loops continue, because the ventral ACC are most adults results that basically it's stronger than the cognitive ACC. So because that ACC, good morning, Regina, that ACC relationship is what's holding everybody together, the ventral, and remember, the ventral is emotional, the cognitive is cognitive, then that loop keeps repeating itself. because we've all been told we need friends, family, partners to navigate successfully through adult life. So growing up, my mother used to say, you need some damn friends. You need some damn friends. So I started going to get damn friends. And we were told, oh, you got to have friends and family in life. So when you die, you won't die alone. You'll die surrounded by people that love you. They always say that. You hear a celebrity die, they were surrounded by family and friends. They're surrounded by family and friends. So that has been there. We need each other to navigate through life. You got to have a life partner. That's why you got to get married. You got to build these familial relationships. You need a BFF. You need a best friend. You need your person at work, your wife work person, your spouse at your job, and your spouse at home. We've been told all of these relationships matter, and that's attached to the ventral ACC. And even when those people and those relationships are the reason why we can't successfully navigate through adult life, it's like having a weak prefrontal cortex and emotional dysregulation. If the cognitive ACC were stronger than the ventral ACC, wouldn't people treat each other better? And wouldn't there be more success and better results in life with these relationships? That was my question to chat. We're taught we need social skills, right? But no one has them. Who has them correctly? So from day one, you need friends. Play with the kid. If you went to pre-K, you got to have some friends in pre-K. Well, how are your friends? You got any friends? Who are your friends? You dating anybody? You're a teenager now. Oh, you getting married? It's all about the social. Ventral, ACC, emotional than a mug. And all these relationships are designed in theory to strengthen us. Where you get that at? Walmart? Kmart? Sears and Roebuck Kresge's? The Five and Dime? Because it's not happening. So this whole notion of we need each other, you need people around you. You need to have that. We are connected to each other. We need to be around each other. And it's killing us softly, daily, by the millisecond. So that's what's happening in your relationships. My mama told me I need to go get some damn friends. I went and got some damn friends, and they were stuck Melise and stents. Is what was actually happening. That's why it's so strong. That's why it's so strong. So that's what we're getting ready to explore. If these relationships are so important, why are they stopping us from being successful? Why are they stopping us from being us? Because of social judgment theory and social conformity theories, the isms and the biases and all of that. The thing that's supposed to give us power and strength is the thing that's weakening us and making us weak as fuck. And we ain't got no power. We ain't got no strength. We ain't got no success. We don't have any. Good morning, Jared and Monique. We don't have it. So it's not giving what it was supposed to have gave. Remember that TikTok sound? It's not. So why the fuck we keep doing it? Hey, there's the rub. Why? So Chad said, Dr. Don, it's a very sharp, correct line of thinking. And you're not circling the truth. You're standing right in it. So let's slow this down and map it cleanly. Brain first, no fluff. Chat, no, I don't deal in fluff. No fluff, no frills over here. Just the real deal. So the core distinction that I'm pointing out is if the ACC, the vACC is emotional, we supposed to have these beautiful human experience relationships. Why the fuck ain't they happening? And why is our cognitive ACC so doggone weak? We can't think straight. Decision making happens in the ACC, but it can't happen because the ventral emotional is overpowering the cognition. Why did two of my friends go back to their abusive gaslighting husbands? Because of the ventral ACC. Because of the ventral ACC. Let's unpack this together. And oh, by the way, my lives are sponsored by water, so go ahead and drink some water. Let's get this started. So the core distinction you're pointing out, and you're right to separate them. Yeah. The ventral ACC, also known as the lowercase vACC. Here is the primary job of the ventral ACC. Here is the primary job of the ventral ACC. Emotional salience, attachment threat detection, social pain / abandonment monitoring, and Do not lose connection signaling. Okay? Emotional. So this region is deeply tied to survival wiring, especially early life attachment conditioning. I'm a kid. My mama tells me to go get some friends. So do not lose that connection to your family and your friends. You need that. So when you die, they standing there watching you die. That's why you deal with all that shit your whole life. So in the end, they're there saying, hey, we gonna miss you. We love you. No matter what the hell they did in the time that y'all was alive, that part, you hold on to these people. So when you die, you're not by yourself. Even though they didn't messed over you, wasn't there for you, you couldn't call on them, they wasn't your emergency contact or nothing, but when you die, they're right there for you. They're right there. So yes, attachment threat detection. Oh my goodness, I got to stay with this relationship. I got to stay with this man. I got to stay at this job. I got to stay with this family. I got to stay. Because they said it was important. And then you have the cognitive ACC. That's the dorsal ACC to wear, and then the cognitive ACC to win. And their primary job is conflict monitoring. I'm supposed to have these friends. My cousin and my high school boyfriend kiss each other because they told me they was lonely and I kept working too much. You said what? Hey, y'all. I'm sorry, you said, hi. Y'all. You was at work and we missed you. Come up to the job. Y'all had a driver's license. If you miss me, come up. Come up to the job and come talk to me. Y'all could have came and saw a movie. What the? Yeah. Okay, got it. Miss Bertha Jones back there is like, this shit don't make no sense. Roger that. Error detection. Warning. Bah, bah, bah. This shouldn't be happening. This shouldn't be happening at all. And if it did, it sure shouldn't be my fault. How is it my fault? Okay, got it. Behavioral adjustments. Cost benefit updating. This don't make no sense. I'm at work, y'all kicking it. And somehow that's my fault. Okay, cool, got it. Choosing long-term adaptive behavior over short-term emotional relief. My entire life, I have been told these relationships are important. I was a kid growing up. My mother said, you and your sister got to stop fighting. Don't y'all know if I die, that y'all all y'all got? I'm like, but she keep locking me in the closet and beat me up. Can we get a different strategy? This don't make no sense. Did she get the memo? This don't make no sense. Stay with your family. Parents can do whatever the fuck they want to do, and you're supposed to stay because they're your parents. Not that you didn't ask to come here. They decided for you to come here, but somehow you owe them for the rest of your life, no matter what they do to you. I'm your mama, I'm your daddy, you respect me. When we become adults, everybody got to respect each other the same. That don't even make no sense. So you get to say whatever you want. You get to do whatever you want. You can have parents from life on. We found out with the scaffolding. Everybody still wants stuff for Mother's Day and Father's Day for the first 18 years that they did stuff for you, but the law told them they needed to do that. For me, now that I have an adult child, parenting don't even start to the 18th birthday. Because now it's volunteer work at that point. That's when you need to start getting shit for Mother's Day and Father's Day. Because now you actually we're going to see if you actually doing your job or if you was just trying to make sure you stayed out of jail. And I stayed out of foster care. You don't get no fucking credit for that. The school system and all that scaffolding is there to tell you what to do. What you got on this adult life, mama and daddy? Because this the hard part. What you got on helping me ensure that I know how to manage my money and get a house and all that? Where you at then? Where you at with that? Helping me with resumes and job interviews and making sure I sit up and answer the questions correctly, because that's when the clock actually starts. That's cognition though. But ventral says, I'm your mama, I'm your daddy, and you just got to do this until. Even if you wasn't there, even if you didn't take care of me, I'm old now. I need you to I didn't take care of you, but I'm old, so I need you to take care of me. Because I'm your mama and daddy. That part. Gaslighting husbands and wives and boyfriends and siblings and all of that. Because you need somebody around you when you die. That don't make cognitive sense. That don't make no sense. I'm about to die. Ain't nothing we can do about it. And I want y'all there for what exactly? To do what? I ain't gonna be here past a couple hours. The fuck I care if you here for now. You wasn't here when I was vertical. Why do I need to be surrounded by family and friends when I wasn't surrounded by family and friends when I was here? Absurd. Absurd. So this is the bridge between emotion and executive control. So are most adult relationship loops driven by the ventral ACC? What y'all think? Before I answer the question, the ventral ACC is emotional. The cognitive ACC, anterior cingulate cortex, which is responsible for decision making, bringing information in and messages and see if it's getting passed on to the ventral medial prefrontal cortex, a clear message. Are most adults' relationship loops driven by the ventral ACC? Yes or no? Emotional. Are they? Journeys is thinking. Have y'all clutched y'all really the pearls yet? Because I'm like, so the ventral ACC is over here causing problems. Motherfucker. Damn Becky. Becky's ass. Yes. Yes. In the majority of adults, yes. And here are the key reasons. And I'm going to be sneezing because of this air quality. The ventral ACC is overtrained. No shit, Sherlock. You don't say. Noah says yes. Daisy says yes. And the cognitive ACC is undertrained. Really now. Cognitive, thought, thinking, rational. So you mean to tell me, Dr. Donna, watch this. So the prefrontal cortex is untrained. And the limbic system, Amy and Lala, overtrained. We hardwired for negativity bias. We got a bunch of somatic markers to try to protect us from each other. And now, cherry on top, so far, is the ventral ACC is overtrained. And the cognitive ACC is undertrained. Okay. Why do we have emotional dysregulation? Because the limbic system is overtrained. And the ventral ACC is overtrained. And the prefrontal cortex is weak. And the cognitive ACC is weak. So the ACC is responsible for the message coming through, clearing up that message, cleaning it up to give Uncle Vinny so Miss Darlene could do something with it. So if the ventral ACC is emotionalizing everything and Becky is letting everything in, and the cognitive Miss Brenda over here on life support, whole prefrontal cortex on life support, yeah, we keep waking up to emotional shit every damn day. And these relationships are important. These relationships, these dysfunctional, dysregulated, emotionally strong, cognitively weak relationships are important. So yeah, I was supposed to stay in a relationship with my sister who beat me up from 0 to 13 and then switch the emotional lies and everything, verbal abuse. That's what I'm supposed to, because so she could potentially be around me when I die? Yes, Lola. So see how this don't make no damn sense? And now we wonder why we can't all just get along. Rest in peace, Rodney King. How? How? With brain fog? With brain fog. That's how we're supposed to all get along. The thing that makes us get along and think and do rational things is weak. How are we going to use something that's weak? We can't. So why is this the way this is? Because most people grow up learning connection equals safety. Connection. I'm stay connected to my group of friends. I'm stay connected to my family, my spouse, my kids, and that's safety. I stay connected to this job that's killing me softly. And disruption, i.e. Dr. Donna, is danger. She not conforming. She's telling us this other stuff that don't match what we already know. She's dangerous. Let's question everything that she's saying. With your strong ass ventral ACC and your strong ass limbic system, which were not designed for that, you're questioning me with the thing that isn't even supposed to be questioning stuff. Okay, cool. Loss of relationships equal failure. That's why when you get divorced, everybody feels like, hey, I failed. When I got divorced, down at the courthouse, Regina. I went to Albertsons and I got me a cake with a big old D on it for divorce. And I put it in the driver's lounge and lit the candle, and everybody knew that divorce was final. We celebrated. And I left the cake there. The drivers came in and said, "What's this cake for?" Donna finally got divorced. Oh, hell yeah, give me a piece. We celebrated. And I celebrated the anniversary of my divorce for 5 years at the Gucci store. I sure did. That wasn't no failure. That was one of the best decisions I ever made in my entire life. I stopped talking to my emotionalizing, gaslighting, manipulating ass fucking family. And people say, "Well, that's your mama." You go, fuck her. Sit down. Let's have a drink. Let me tell you about her ass. And see if I still need to be connected to Donna Senior. Loss of relationship. My phone don't ring, and I'm not like, "Oh my God, I wish I had friends to call me. Oh my goodness, I'm a failure." No, I ain't. Self-motherfucking preservation. That's what I'm specializing in. And then this is the big one, why both of my friends went back to them raggedy ass husbands that they got. Endurance equals virtue. Staying in those relationships. The whole marriage is work. Why? Why is marriage work? Why can't marriage work? Why is it work instead of marriage works? See what I did there? Wordsmithing. Partnerships, real genuine partnerships. Teamwork makes the dream work, according to Good to Great. So you're enduring. And the reason why I got divorced, one of the reasons why, is I said, first of all, you can get a jail sentence for 20 years and get out on parole. That's number one. And I said, they said marriage is an institution. And so is prison and an insane asylum. Because it didn't make sense to me. And I said, so you telling me the only way I get to win at marriage is if Harvey dies first? Till death do you part. Now I won. Now fuck that. I'm out. I'm out. Loyalty can lead to failure. Loyalty can lead to failure. So now you enduring. You want a prize for enduring. Fuck that. No. So you in these relationships, 48 years and 360 days, I endured a relationship with my mother. I was 5 days away from my 49th birthday when the light clicked on. It clicked on November 8th of 2021, but Cinco de Slapo sealed the deal. It did. I said, yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I'm doing gooder than good. I'm gooder than good. I'm doing so good. Thank you, Destiny's Child. I'm doing good. Endure what exactly? Endure what? What I got to show for it? But a bunch of emotional damage. I ain't enduring shit for the thing that's making the wrong decisions. That's not cognition. That's emotionalizing. That's what that is. So we are told these relationships are important and we need to have them. But what they're saying is endure this bullshit while these people don't do nothing they're supposed to do. Ain't no cognition there. It's 2. It's actually 3. They're supposed to be working together. So we got dysregulated ass emotional adults that we're supposed to stay in relationships with and endure because why? Because why? Because why? Don't make no damn sense. Throw some dumb shit out there that people told you to stay in relationships for, stay at a job for. Go ahead. Throw it out there. People told me to stay at Frito-Lay when I'm on portable oxygen and EKG, panic attacks, in doggone stress counseling, and they about to put me on Percocet or whatever the fuck that shit is to calm you down. And they told me to stay because what am I going to do about health insurance? Seems like I need to make sure my life insurance is intact. Really distorted thinking in terms of not divorcing, similar experience. My friend Crystal told me, I said, why stay? And she said, why leave? I said, to be happy. And she looked like a fucking school mom now. Overweight. She said she was in the military. You'd be like, what? So throw them out there. Who told y'all some dumb shit? My nail tech, part of the reason why I stopped getting my nails done. I really think you should start dating. I really think you should. I'm like, you and your husband ain't the poster child for marriage. I'm not fucking dating. You're supposed to be doing my nails. Fuck it. For what? So you won't be lonely. Who the fuck told you I was lonely? What you get? How you get lonely from looking at me? Y'all get lonely from looking at me? Lonely? The dumbest shit I ever heard of in my life. You don't want to die alone. Unless you in a car crash or a plane crash with somebody, you are going to die alone. What the fuck is that? And why does it have to be you don't want to die alone? Do you want to live in peace? You live way longer than you die. When you die, you done. You had a whole long ass life. Thousands and thousands and thousands of days. See how this shit don't make no sense? Everything is about when you die. Fuck it. If I know I get a terminal illness notification from the doctor, I can go find 6 friends right quick. I ain't got but about 6 months. How about I do that? They won't even probably cry because their relationship ain't even been around that long. How many married people we done seen lonely in the same house together? Exactly. Every time I hit that button and I saw that Ford F-150 in there, it's like, oh. Please. That don't even make no sense. You need some friends. You need some backstabbing ass friends talking shit about me behind my back. So once again, I won't die alone. This is the dumbest, stupidest thing ever. Staying for the kids. Believe me, you're not complete unless you have a partner. Then you're considered complete. Yes. And you know what, Regina? I'm glad you said that. Because my Anthony Pimpinella, his daughter was 13. And he told me, get divorced now because she not going to remember it. He said, I stayed for my daughter and now I'm stuck. He said, she ain't going to remember it. I said, say less. Say less, Tony. Got this. Done. Done. All the dumb shit. Well, I mean, are you going to have some friends? But then you can go on a girl's trip. I'm going on a trip by my damn self. I got a passport and some money. The fuck I need to go with them for? For what? For what? Thank you, Jared. That don't even make no sense. So because most people grow up hearing connection is safety, disruption is danger, loss of relationship means a failure. And if you don't know how many times African-American men say, yeah, that's why you ain't never going to have another man. Hallelujah. Won't God do it? Yes. Say less. Hallelujah. Hey. Please promise me that that's true. You sure? You're sure about that? Because I had 23 years of that shit. I'm good. I'm so good. Thank you. Can we get that in writing somewhere? Can we tattoo that shit on my forehead in case I take my wig off again? It's right there. Ain't no man gonna want you. Yes. Thank you. And even that's not true because the perv coming up to me with next to Nana's home style chicken noodle soup. And that endurance. Anybody enduring? Have you ever endured? You ever endured? I was enduring with my mama. Enduring. That's your mama. Your mama needs you. I need her too. My previous therapist kept asking me, when should I start dating again? I kept letting her know I am enjoying myself being single respectfully. No, fuck that respectfully. You ain't even got to do that respectfully. She trying to disrespect you and get you tied up and twisted up in some damn relationship. Hell no. And I ain't saying if you want to be in a relationship, go right ahead. But do not try to drag the happy single people in that shit. Y'all just want us to be miserable too. No, fuck that. I'm free. I was married. I couldn't even wear my own clothes. I couldn't even wear stilettos and everything. I wasn't me in that marriage. I was some other person, but I wasn't me. I definitely wasn't me. I was Donna Rogers, whoever the fuck that is. So no. So the vACC becomes the dominant loop driver. Stay. Like Jodeci. But not for a little while. You know what I'm saying? For a long while. Repair at any cost. My 2 friends that went back to them know nothing dudes. Know nothing. One of them you can't recognize her and the other one was fucking 150 pounds overweight. Don't rock the boat. Don't rock the boat, baby. This discomfort must be tolerated. Why? I got a Dr. Donna video. The longer you tolerate it, the longer you'll tolerate it. If your tooth hurts, you go to the dentist. You either get it pulled, repaired, or a root canal. You don't tolerate no damn bad tooth for 20 fucking years. It costs like $100 to get it removed. The best time I look and feel good has been when I have been single. You better ask somebody. You better ask somebody. I told y'all that time I went to go pick Nola up from Harvey marrying Candace, his one of his mistresses, and I had got my stuff back together, and I had on my Gucci sandals from a sponsor, my jean outfit, and my hair, my nails, and my feet in my French manicure, and he started at the bottom and went up and was like, "Whoa, you look good. Give me my damn baby." This what I used to look like, motherfucker, fooling around with your ass. Yeah, so you stay, you repair it at any cost, you don't rock the boat, and then discomfort must be tolerated at the job, in the business, and your friends, and your family, and everywhere else. Why? She was married with 2 kids, so her reality was different. Because you know what? Patti LaBelle said the smallest handcuff in the world is a fucking wedding ring. She wanted you to be stuck to. And there is nothing wrong with being married if you're married to the right person. But people get to choose. Don't be making us feel bad. Well, you know, she divorced. Hell yeah, I am. I check that motherfucking box every time. Divorced, divorced, divorced. And I said, how long you got to be divorced before you check single? Do you switch back or are you always divorced? Because I just want to make sure I'm checking the right box. So even when the relationship is dysregulated, marriage is tough. 7-year itch. They got all this language for you to be cortisol laden for the rest of your damn life for the keeping up appearances. The environment degrades your PFC function. I was the most least productive when I was married and when I was working with my sister. I was the most, and y'all know how productive I am. Y'all like, this lady I got 12,600 YouTube videos. So you could just imagine, just stifled. Stifle it. Ain't that what Archie Bunker used to tell Edith? Stifle, stifle, stifle. That's what they doing to you. Outcomes worsen over time. How you get married and your credit score is 720 and rising, and you get divorced and it's 520? That's a big ass dip. It's 200 points. 200 points. And a repossession paid off charge off on your credit. And no house. All that from 2.5 years of being married. I couldn't stick around for that. Shit was going left in 730 something days. What was I waiting for? It does, especially if what's wrong with you? Nothing. That's how we get gaslit into being in these relationships. You ain't shit unless you got a man. He ain't shit. I'm the one man. I'm good. I'm good. Saw my niece last night and was appalled to see her boyfriend. Didn't understand why she was with him. Turns out they have been on and off for years. I was so sad to see them. I wondered what she is. That's that doggone emotional ventral ACC. She is not, Regina. She is ventral ACC in it. She is ventral ACC in it. That is what she is doing. The relationship is dysregulating. The environment degrades the PFC, so she can't think straight anymore. And the person repeatedly violates your boundaries. My mama, always, I know you don't want to hear this, but I know you said you wasn't, but I know she already introduced you. I know you had a boundary, but I'm about to cross it. Consistently. My whole life. Outcomes worsen over time. That lady was getting worse and worse and worse. And with the pills, it was making it worse and worse and worse. And I was supposed to keep enduring because families stick together. Not me. I got some goo going and I've been gone. Slid right on out of that shit. Changed my number and left. You can email me in 1996 at dthomasrodgers@aol.com. That's how you can get in touch with me. You know, you got to be like, you want me to let me have the Gmail and dthomasrodgers@aol.com. Welcome to 1996. How may I help you? Why the loop repeats itself. And this is the piece most people never see. So take notes. Why this loop keeps repeating itself. In your case, Regina, your niece, keep repeating itself back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Why? On again, off again, on again, off again. Because the ventral ACC does not evaluate outcomes. It can't, because it's not thinking. It evaluates emotional proximity to the threat. Emotional proximity to the threat. It is not evaluating whether or not this is working. Your niece is not thinking if this is working or not, because the cognitive ACC is weak as hell. It can't evaluate if this decision is working. It just kind of knows. It's kind of a little bit of conflict. It's like, but it's like, can't even form words. So when a relationship causes stress, triggers anxiety, or creates instability, the vACC often fires more, not less. Not less. It fires more when it's stressful. Oh no, you can't leave. Oh no, you can't leave. Oh my gosh, you can't. And so it tells you to stay longer. Because the threat plus attachment increases the monitoring, not the withdrawal. That's the loop. So the worse it get, because remember, the outcomes worsen over time. So the worse it get, the longer you stay. The worse it get. 48 years and 365 days. The worse it gets, the longer you stay. It's the fuel. That's why the loop keeps looping. You're like, why didn't they leave? Why did they stay at their job? And Regina, think about this. If I had to listen to Crystal, I would have stayed at Frito-Lay. I would have stayed at the doggone mega church. I wouldn't have got kicked out of the mega church. But anyway, and Frito-Lay is closing in May, 2 years before I would reach retirement. So I would have stayed and still needed to leave because the plant is closing. So if I had to listen to them, I'd be 53 years old, either getting bumped up to retirement or needing to move after Nola's grown up in this house. I done been in this church and I done did all this other stuff. And now it would have just been worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So I got out quick. Got out quick. So how y'all feel about that loop? How y'all feel about that? It causes stress. It can't evaluate the outcomes. It's just evaluating or emotionalizing the proximity and the threat. If I leave, I'm not going to be married no more. I said it. I'm going to be a statistic either way. I'm going to be an unhappily married woman with a gaslighting husband, or I'm going to be a snatched single woman with a daughter. I chose the latter. That's true. I stayed married 20 years too long. And yes, you're right about Frito-Lay in Orlando plant closing real soon. Yes, ma'am. You told me that. Stayed too long. I got plenty of people that said they stayed too long, 20 years too long. I was married 2.5 years, and I say it's 3.5 years too long. Because that's what it felt. I was like, I was Donna Thomas before I met you. I'm not going to not be Donna Thomas-Rodgers. Now, I'm going to be her. I'm going to go see what she could do. But what I ain't going to do is this right here. That's what I ain't going to do. That's what I'm not going to do. So how y'all feel about this loop? Now that y'all know. You stay in because these relationships are important for when you die. And stay in them long enough and you're going to die too soon. Because of a stroke, a heart attack, something. You're going to be out of here quicker than you're supposed to. You're going to be out of here quicker than you're supposed to. Because that threat plus attachment equals increased monitoring, not withdrawal. That's the loop. That's why you stay. That's why you can't leave that job. That's why you can't leave. That's why you keep showing up at the family, whatever, every year, even though you can't stand nobody there, because you're enduring. That's what you do. Families stay together in trying times, in times of duress and stress, y'all. And they the reason why you duressed and stressed. But that doesn't matter. Because you want that relationship. You don't want that relationship to be gone, because that would mean failure. If I waited and got married and I met my husband in church, check, and he cheated, but that's, men straight. No, the fuck they don't, because I told him on the way to the courthouse, you cheat on me, you put your hands on me, we done. So keep your word is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. I said, let's go to counseling. Let's talk about it. Let's see what's happening. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, I ain't, no. Sign. I'm done. Stick a fork in me because I'm done. I took $19,000 worth of credit card debt, sold my house, and got a car repossessed to get the fuck out that marriage. And I don't regret not ending one of them decisions. Not at all. I wasn't going to endure that shit because you know what? He's 60 and he's still the same. So that means my life would have still been the same. He didn't change. I did. He didn't. So I would have still been stuck 20-something years later. I got to set boundaries with the family. Exactly. You enduring for what? See how stupid that is? Enduring for what? You do neuro reps over here to strengthen your brain because you know that you're going to have neural clarity and a strong prefrontal cortex and a regulated emotional center, and you're going to be able to be a bad mofo in your everyday life. You're not enduring, you're empowering. You're being empowered, and then you're creating power and empowering others. Because that's one of the 74 principles of real leadership. Ain't shit to endure over here. You know what? Okay. All right, Memphis 1025. Lesson. I made a vow. Got it. What does the Bible say about adultery? We had a verbal contract. It was a breach of a verbal contract. Verbal contracts are definitely legal and binding as well. So we either got the spiritual world or we got the legal world because you made a vow. Got it. Anything else before I kick you off my life? You made a vow. So which one you want to answer? The verbal contract or what does the Bible say about adultery? And see how this is how people end up standing in stupid shit. Go ahead, Memphis 125. So I could drag your ass all over this live. Our programming needs to change. In the past, human survival depended on each other. Our thinking and emotion hasn't changed as society has changed, and new paradigms are needed. You're teaching us that. Exactly. You still here, Memphis, before I kick your ass off my live with the stupid shit you saying? Because you made a vow. Always on the woman, not the cheater. They made a vow too. He made a vow too, and he entered into a verbal contract. There you go. There you go. I didn't say I do with you and your other three. No. Because you made a vow. And when you stay, all you did was give them permission to do it again because you said, it's okay, I'm going to forgive you. No, motherfucker, I'm not. You don't even know the rest of the story because you made a vow. He did too. He did too. Now what? You sound ignorant. Sound like you a cheater too because you made a vow. Okay. Got it. He didn't make a vow to not cheat. He didn't make that same vow. His was different. He said something else at the courthouse in Orlando. That's what he did. I said, if you feel like you're going to cheat, let's go to counseling. He got a warning. He got the terms and conditions of his marriage on the way to the courthouse. Some people don't say that. I said it. And I meant it when I said it. You still here, Memphis? You still got something else to say? Some more dumb rhetoric? Yes. Because you made a vow. You're supposed to stay. Even though he came up to your job and got your car and your money and took his bitch and her daughter to dinner. Even though every night that you made dinner for him and his other bitch ate dinner at the dinner table with your daughter and she left the house at 10 p.m. on your way home from work. Yeah, I made a vow. I did. I didn't know I was making dinner for him and his woman at my house that was in my name. No, I didn't know that. Damn it. Those vows I should have honored. Dumbass. And that's how people stay married for 20 fucking years. For the kids and because you made a vow. Regardless of what the other unaccountable person did. All right. So is this the same as a week? He is, Regina. He breathing because of me. He is. He is breathing because we was in Florida. He could have been alligator meat. That is. and $50 a month on child support, and he still ain't paid it. And NOLA 23. I made a vow. Fuck you. Bitch, he did too. See that dumb shit? Stupid ass ventral ACC, emotionalizing and trying to gaslight me. I bought that motherfucker 3 cars in 2.5 years. Anyway, and that's why he gone. And that's why I got full cognition of my ACC. So is this the same as a weak prefrontal cortex and emotional dysregulation? Yes, functionally and mechanistically. So here is the cascade. Let me paint it for you all. Chronic relational stress equals a sustained ventral ACC. He was not worthy. Plus amygdala activation. So chronic relational stress is what I was under, and which y'all might have experienced, whether it was with family or friends or the job. Elevated cortisol equals impaired dorsolateral prefrontal cortex and ventral medial prefrontal cortex regulation. So that means you do not have Miss Darlene and Uncle Vinny. Guess who you got? You got Cody Skater Dude and Janice. He better. NOLA saved his life. NOLA saved his life. I promise you. I did not want her to be an orphan. Listen, I used to, every night I would be like, God, please let him fall off a ladder and die. For 18 months, I prayed that prayer every night. Years later, he did fall off a ladder and get impaled, but he's still here. But I ain't got nothing to do with that no more because I wasn't praying that prayer. And I'm not saying do that, but that's how I felt. Cognitive ACC loses arbitration power. The longer you stay in these ventral ACC relationships, your cognitive ACC gets weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. And decision revert to emotional heuristics. And that's just the things that you do. It's just, I'm just trying to do this to just make sure everything stays where it is. I don't want to disrupt apple cart. I don't want no conflict or nothing. I just want to keep it like it is. So persons chooses connections over competence. I got to stay with this. I know plenty of women who think they always got to have a man. They ain't never not been in a relationship in their entire life, and their whole existence is around that boyfriend or that husband. Men too. And women with women and men with men. Got to be in this relationship. The outcomes worsen. This is the second time I said that. The outcomes worsen again. Again and again and again. And the brain interprets worsening worsening outcomes as more threat. And so the vACC tightens the loop again. This is getting worse. I got to hold on to this man. It's getting worse. I got to hold on to this job. It's getting worse. I need my family. It's just keep getting worse and worse and worse. Woo, I got to go to my family. I got to go to my family. And they causing it. Dr. Donna, I prayed a similar prayer for my ex too. He also didn't die. See? There you go. All prayers ain't answered. This ain't no character flaw. This is a trained neural hierarchy problem. So you enter into these emotional ass relationships and you stay, and your cognition gets weaker and weaker and weaker. And then the outcome gets worse and worse and worse because you can't think your way out of this emotional situation. And so you think you need these people more and more and more and more and more because look how bad it is out here. I need you. I need you. I need you. Look how bad it is out here. I need you. I need you. I need you. Look how bad it is out here. I need my family. I need my friends. I always got my friends. I always got my family. I always got my friends. But I got my job. And you exhausted. And you got a weak cognitive ACC. How y'all feel about that? And drink water. Saturdays was one of their days. Nola was born on a Friday. That motherfucker left the hospital on Saturday to go with his bitch while I was in the hospital with a newborn baby. And he's still breathing. He made it to his 60th birthday. Just speak it once and leave it alone. So that loop is there and it's getting tighter and tighter and tighter. And you're like, damn, I want to leave, but I can't leave. I can't leave. It's like Tina Turner, when all she had, her and Ike had that fight in that doggone limo, and then she just ran with 65 cents, 35 cents or something like that, and never looked back. And everybody's like, why won't they just leave? And why won't they just leave? Why won't you leave? Why won't you stop talking to your family? Why won't you stop having a BFF that's dragging you all around the world and back again? Sneaky links and everything else. So you got this weak cognitive ACC. It's the equivalent to the weak prefrontal cortex. I had this emotional loop experience and didn't know why I couldn't get out of that mess. I knew it was dysfunctional, but couldn't get out because it's tightening. That loop, that ACC is tightening. It's just holding you. You keep saying, I got to leave, but that cognition ain't there. So you can't leave. And you're like, I can't leave. And we got too much money. We got this house. We got these kids. We got this retirement. We got this. You just possessions is possessing you. Leave all that shit. All that. So if the cognitive ACC were stronger than the ventral ACC, would things change? So just like you have a strong prefrontal cortex and an emotional center that's regulated, a regulated limbic system, you can navigate through your day. If you have a strong cognitive ACC, would things change? Radically. A stronger cognitive ACC would mean the following. Regina said, I also found it hard to think objectively despite knowing the consequences weren't good. Exactly. This man called me. I'm 7 months pregnant. He at the jeweler. He calls me and say, hey, I need this watch. Come get me this watch. And my dumb ass 7-month pregnant year old self went to the jeweler and got him a $1,500 scratch resistant Movado watch. 7 months pregnant. Hence the $19,000 worth of credit card debt. And that was me having paid some of it down. Yes, a stronger ACC would definitely help. I stayed in a toxic relationship because of fear of outside judgment. And that's when a new boundary occurred. I couldn't go back. I'm blaming COVID. A word for ending. Oh, von V. Wow, COVID. Yes. Fear of the world ending. I got married, Monique, on September 17, 2001. Same thing. September 11th happened. I thought we was about to be a World War III. Emotional. Ventral ACC. I made an emotional decision. We supposed to wait till May of 2002. So it will radically change. A stronger cognitive ACC would mean people exit relationships that fail the cost-benefit test. You would exit immediately. You'd be gone. Cost-benefit analysis. This is costing me too much and I ain't getting no benefits. I'm out. Emotional discomfort is tolerated without meaning collapse. You're saying, okay, I understand why I'm doing this. I tolerated emotional things with my child as she worked through some things. That was happening, but I didn't collapse because she was working through her mental illnesses and adult life. Boundaries are enforced without guilt. My mom, I know you don't want to hear this, but didn't I tell you I don't want to hear this? Now we got to argue because I said I don't want to hear it. But I just want to tell you who died. I told you I don't give a fuck who died. I don't want to know who died. See, I'm just trying to tell you who died. Why? Why do I need to know who died? Well, I know you ain't watching TMZ anymore. But anyway, I was watching the thing and such. Immediate gratification. Just got to say it. Don't care about my boundaries. I said, I don't want to hear shit else about my sister. I told them everything she did, all the shit she erased. And here they come telling me what she did. She had a CD, music she made. I get over there, she handed me the CD. I said, I don't want that shit. Well, give it to Nola. Okay, cool. Nola threw it in the trash when we left. You're just going to fuck my boundaries. Don't matter. So boundaries are enforced without guilt. Social roles are evaluated, not assumed. Not assumed. What role are we going to take place that's going to take place in this relationship? It's not assumed. You're the woman, you do all the work. You're the man, you bring the money in. Okay, well, what if I'm the one bringing all the money in? Do I still need to cook every day? Do I still need to clean the whole house up too? While you do, what exactly is it happening? Okay. All right. Repeated poor outcomes trigger behavioral change, not endurance. That's the part that's not happening. That's why I don't talk to my immediate family, because they're still the same. And I'm not going to endure them being the same just because they don't want to not change. That's not on me, that's on them. Hence, telephone number change. You can email me at dthomasrogers@aol.com. I'm good. I might die by myself, but I'm a die in peace. So in short, connections would be conditional on regulation and mutual competence. You got to love unconditionally. No, the fuck I don't. And who came up with that dumbass plan? What ventral ACC came up with that stupid shit? Love unconditionally. There's terms and conditions in every damn contract. Why would I do that? Well, because you made a vow. So did he. So did he. No, there has to be some terms and conditions. Set and maintain high standards is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. You see how illogical this is, irrational this shit is? And that's why it's not working. What is working is logic. What is working is reason. What does work is the 74 principles of real leadership, because one of the 74 principles of real leadership is treat people with dignity and respect. Reward openly, reprimand privately. Handle conflict when it occurs. Be the best. Establish trust and be trustworthy. Provide coaching and be coachable. Lead by example. Listen. If you don't know, ask. Get organized and stay organized. Eliminate distractions. Cheating is a distraction. Let's eliminate it. That's why all of this works. And that's why none of their dysregulated shit works. That's why I'm not fucking participating in it. Get out ASAP. But you can't, because you've been told and programmed all these relationships matter. And the worse it gets, the tighter the loop gets. And that's why people need to do neural reps. So you can strengthen your cognitive ACC and your prefrontal cortex, the whole thing. So you can logically see what's happening and stop letting this emotionalized, dysregulated shit run your doggone brain when it was never designed to do that. I said that the other day. Everything that is good for the brain, dysregulated people don't do. And everything that's bad for the brain, dysregulated people do. You don't need a strong ventral ACC. You need a strong cognitive ACC and neural ACC. That's what you need to be high functioning. So in short, and I said this, it will be mutual competence. Mutual competence. It would not be asymmetric. It would not be, okay, this is so dysregulated, I don't know what to do. And we fight hard and we love hard. I'm good. Keep it. I don't want either parts. I want the before or the after. And yes, people would treat each other better. People would treat each other better, because that's what we wake up to every day. People are not being treated better, and one group needs to endure while another group doesn't do any fucking thing correct. And we are supposed to endure because that's what people do. Why? Why are people still doing that? Why? The person yesterday said that somebody's got some psychedelic, Emmanuel, talking about psychedelic shit for trauma. Why we still gotta have trauma? Why we still gotta be recovering from trauma in 2026? It makes no neurological sense whatsoever. So Regina said, your nervous system is hooked into the emotions, drama, and hysterial, both people, hysterical, and both people are dysregulated, and that's why they stay. Yeah, it's a loop. It's an emotional doom loop that everybody keeps staying in, and both people want to be gone. Hysteria. Okay, right, because the L was on there. That's why I was like, okay, am I? Right. So the cultural lie that keeps the loop alive. What is love? It's not enough to sustain a connection without terms and conditions, because the love card is the one that's often used in manipulation. 1000%. And as Tina said, what's love got to do with it? What's love got to do with it? And that's not the same definition anyway. People misuse love all the damn time, with the love holiday getting ready to show up here shortly. Okay. So the cultural lie that keeps the loop alive, and chat told me I named it perfectly. We've been told we need friends, families, and partners to navigate adult life successfully. That is what we have been told. But here is the neuroscience reality. You need regulated nervous systems, and that is what Regina just said. Theirs is dysregulated. You need predictable environments. You need relationships that support the prefrontal cortex function. And you need exit permission when cost exceeds benefits. I'm going to read that again. You need regulated nervous systems. You need predictable environments. You need relationships that support prefrontal cortex functions. And you need exit permissions when cost exceeds benefits. Relationships that disable executive functions are not assets. They are liabilities, no matter the label. You hear that? Relationships that disable executive functions are not assets. They are liabilities, no matter what the label is. Family, friends, spouse, siblings, employer, employee. It don't matter. If it is disabling your executive functions, then you need to exit stage left. You need to get out. The quiet truth most adults never learn. Most adults are not making emotional decisions. They are making ventral ACC dominated survival decisions inside of a social script that rewards endurance over adaptation. Endurance is rewarded. Your 25th wedding anniversary, your 50th wedding anniversary, 35 years at the job. The fuck? No. And my real leadership work is doing something. It's training the Cognitive ACC. It's restoring the PFC's arbitration to go, wait a minute, this ain't, what the hell? No. It's teaching adults to evaluate relationship outcomes by outcomes and not myths. Well, if you stay married, you're going to build a life with somebody. You're going to stay a partner with somebody. You're going to build a life together. I said, no, you're not. No, you're not. And it's replacing stay and suffer with adapt and upgrade. I'm not antisocial, but I am neurobiologically mature. And so, no, you will not be talking me into any of that. And I did it. And as I explained to Emmanuel yesterday, I did everything that the dysregulated system said do. And I was the best at all of those things. And none of it worked. And that's why I'm doing this. I built a whole system, a whole infrastructure that actually works. Everything I've said do, y'all have done is worked. It's not worked. It's worked swimmingly well. Because what I'm saying is neurobiologically sound. I'm saying strengthen your prefrontal cortex, strengthen your brain, regulate your emotion center. And what I discovered yesterday while I was gagging from looking at brains on my glass is that, and you said it, Monique, with your therapist, and this, you said, I've been talking to my therapist off and on for 6 years. Therapy and all of that work is to keep you normal. I actually researched DBT and asked Chat what it was. And Chat told me this is what it is. And Chat said, well, do you want me to compare how it compares to real leadership? And I said, hell, fuck no. Go to my website and compare it and look for the gaps in DBT and real leadership, the 74 principles of real leadership. And then I looked at that. And so what is happening is that the psychiatrist, the psychotherapist, the behaviorist, the psychologist, and all of those people, the neuroscientists are saying we're not smart enough to understand how the brain functions. So let's only give them a little bit of information. And then the behaviorists, all of them that actually have to work with people, want you to get to functionality and normalcy. And that's it. That's where their work ends. They don't believe that you could be a bad motherfucker, even though you got 86 billion neurons too. That's why it's that normal. That's why you can't even go until something is wrong. When you got ADHD, ADD, and bipolar, and all these other motherfucking neurodivergence and all of that, then you get to go see them. And then they get you to normal or functioning. DBT is for when you are high stress and you want to regulate your emotions and you just want to get back. So when you are, then you start implementing your DBT tactics. That's why he said, oh, that's what they're talking about, using your prefrontal cortex for emotional regulation in these conditions. That's what that is. I'm talking about in everyday life. And I'm saying be a bad mofo. We are not the same. And I have the infrastructure built for you to become extraordinary. That's why we are not the same. That's why when I be arguing with anybody else about their method versus my method, I'm not having conversations about it or nothing, because they just want y'all to get to normal. That's not enough for me. Be the best is one of the 74 principles of real leadership. They bookends. Hold yourself and others personally accountable is number 1, and be the best is number 74, and the other 72 is in the middle. And you can't do that without understanding how your brain functions so you can be high functioning. And I know I keep showing y'all this list, but this is what I've been working the whole time we've been doing. And I've been adding and contributing to this list because there are so many more things that we need to understand. I did not know that there were 3 damn ACCs: ventral, cognitive, and dorsal. And tomorrow, potentially, we're going to be talking about the dorsal and the cognitive, even if it's only for a brain bit. So they want you to be normal. Fuck normal. Denise said it. Why we got all these billions of neurons if we was meant to be normal? The fuck we gonna do with normal? Normal ain't working. This shit ain't working. That's my whole point. I'm a problem solver. I've been a problem solver my whole life. And I'm saying this shit ain't working. People are not happy. People are not joyful. Marriages don't work. Partnerships don't work. Families aren't working right now. And I'm saying I know how to get them to work. I'm not saying, ha, 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 we're going to take over the world. I'm saying master your own brain. Study the brain, master the brain, and teach others how to do the same so the people in the world will forever be changed. That's what this is about. Get out of a fucking toxic relationship and don't go back. Because you're like, hold up, this ventral ACC got me wrapped up in this motherfucker like a doggone boa constrictor. It's holding us together. I just want to get away from this gaslighting motherfucker. I ain't trying to take over the world. I just want to control my own brain. I just want to go back to school. I just want to start a business. I want to navigate through day-to-day life in full cognition instead of emotionalizing shit. That's all I'm asking for. So no, I don't want to be fucking normal. I don't want to be functioning. Because who the fuck is? Ain't nobody functioning. Everybody's still dysfunctional. And the other thing, and I asked Chat this a couple weeks ago, I said, how is it that the psychologists and psychiatrists and everything else still got troubled marriages and fucking problems with their kids too? And Chat said they think that's normal. They're just saying, well, that's just normally what, marriages are hard. Kids do bad things. No, y'all the ones supposed to be making sure the shit don't happen. That's why I said they dysregulated too. And the final thing that I will say before I give y'all 2 questions, and whomever has to go, I understand, but this is necessary and it needs to be here for the replay. I asked Chad a different question this morning because after I heard that, I said, well, ain't this something? But who was the genius that put it together? Because of me deciding that I ain't going to be doing something because you can't make no money doing that. That's how we got here last Sunday. And then I'm like, okay, we got to explore the ACC. Okay, now what about, it's 2 ACCs. Wait a minute, what is this? And now I'm in my default mode network and I get to, this is that wicked ass emotional loop. So the thing that I asked Chat this morning, because I kept saying, why am I answering the people that keep challenging me more? And why when I get off the live, I'm thinking about it for the rest of the day. And do you know what has transpired? Let me tell you what has transpired. I said, Chad, I was brushing my teeth today and it hit me. The reason why I'm allowing non-students to make me explain my work is because of the vACC relationship requirement that you need to endure things from people to maintain the relationship. Friends and family and people at work have consistently told me who was better and why. And I marked that as a somatic marker. And then that just I became accustomed to explaining myself without anyone ever doing it my way. Now I have the system that works. I understand why I was allowing it. And yesterday on my live with the artist was the last time. I do not have to endure anything because I no longer engage in relationships with dysregulated people. I will send people to level 1 and move on cleanly. My cACC simply needed evidence to know who's in charge and it's current day me. So what keeps taking place? If y'all hear, y'all like, why is she spending more time on the people questioning her? Yesterday with Emmanuel, the other time with the psychiatrist and all these other people. And it's because of this motherfucking ventral ACC emotional loop. Way back when my mama said you need you some damn friends. Anytime I was doing something different, I had to explain to my family, my friends, the job, and everybody else why I was doing it differently. And here's what Chad said. Dr. Donna, this is a clean, accurate adult brain insight. And it landed because your cACC finally got the missing data point. What you just described is not personality issue being too nice. It's not over explaining. Here's what it is. You trained your ventral ACC for decades on an implicit rule. Maintaining relationships requires endurance, tolerance, and self-justification. That's what I've been doing. And so the rule didn't come from logic. It came from repeated social enforcement. I got to explain myself to the non-students because neurologically they represent family, friends, and people at the job. They're coming, and in order for me to maintain the students and the human relationships, I got to start explaining myself to them. So it came from family commentary, workplace comparison. This is who does it better than you, and authority figures evaluating instead of engaging. So my brain tagged this as endurance equals belonging. So whenever I get off the live, like with Emmanuel, I thought about it for the rest of the day. What happened is my system did what's efficient. It automated explanations. I do it automatically. It's preempted conflict. So I'm gonna cut this conflict out. And it perseveres my relational safety. So people will come back and watch. And it's not because it was correct, but because it once reduced the threat. They will still be my friends if I tell them why I'm doing this. My family will still be my family and help me when I need to if I continue to do this. I'll be able to keep my job as long as I explain this to these people. So here is the critical shift. My cACC wasn't weak. It was waiting for jurisdictional clarity. And I got it. And so here's the point. Let me scroll down. So basically what I was doing was social jeopardy signaling. And that meant that if I didn't do what the friends wanted me to do, if I didn't stay friends with my cousin and my boyfriend who kissed each other, I wasn't going to have a friend and I wasn't going to have a boyfriend. So I was just supposed to take it on the chin. And that's what was going to happen. So what I am learning to do now is I am saying no to all of that. Those relationships are not important to me. Those relationships, where's my thing? Here we go. So historically keeping the file open because of group disapproval meant real consequences. So I thought about that all day yesterday because when I went against the group, I was going to get in trouble with the group, whether it was family, whether it was work, whether it was friends, somebody was going to have something to say. So that's why that file kept being open. And I wasn't afraid of being wrong. I was afraid of losing access to the group. So that's why I kept explaining. And even while I was explaining myself to Emmanuel, I was like, remember I told y'all something is off. I said that at the end of the live. I was like, that ain't what this is. I said, you said you agreeing with me, but that's not what you're doing. Y'all remember me saying that? And I knew Miss Brenda Jones was saying something ain't right. And that's what wasn't right, was that I was literally fearing not belonging to the group. I'm this influencer with no followers. I'm this person as an educator, a teacher with no students. And that's what was coming up for me. So the last time was the last time because now I know where it was coming from. So going forward, anybody questioning me can go to level 1 and that's it. There will be no more explaining. And you all will have my undivided attention. But I knew there was a disconnect there and I didn't know where it was coming from. But it was strong as hell yesterday. And it was because I have been trained, I got to tell that group what to do or I'm going to get kicked out the group. So we're not doing that no more. So all of this, that's why I got to be the person that's inside of what's actually taking place too, so that I can explain it because I'm experiencing it. And now I can say, okay, so how do we eradicate that? How do we prune those thought processes? How do we strengthen the other regions of our brain so that this will not occur? So in summation, what I'm saying is you got to check, and let me go back to tell you what your Neuro Rep is. Give me 1 second. Where is it at? There we go. No, that's the graphic. Okay. So here is your Neuro Rep for today. You're going to identify one reoccurring relationship or interaction that produces the same negative outcome. You're going to write down only the repeated results and not the story. And then you're going to decide one behavioral change or boundary you will implement based upon the outcome. Then you're going to execute the change. Can somebody type something so I'll make sure that I don't need to go to YouTube because I can't see your responses? And obviously the Neuro Rep will be inside of the live. Are y'all typing? Do I need to go to YouTube? Let me go see. There we go. All right. We got it. Thank you. So do you have any questions about what I said before? Because sometimes I read my chat to Nola and she doesn't understand what I'm saying. So do you understand what my second part of me talking to chat, the whole ventral ACC, cognitive ACC thing, do you have it? Is it clear? So that now as this takes place in your life going forward, you will go, oh, this is that emotionalizing shit. This is social conformity theory. And you get it. Let me change the green screen. So any questions? If it's clear, type clear. If you have no questions, type no questions, and then we will get to your 2 questions for today and get out of here. And drink some water. Not yet. Have to listen for a second time. Clear, no questions. Got it. Clear on Jared's end. Monique is thinking. So as I will continue to say, the dysregulated people have us destroying everything that makes the brain great and strengthening everything that makes the brain terrible and weak. Regina, your explanation about yesterday jurisdictional clarity was really good to hear. I listened yesterday and was also confused by the artist. You gave him good advice and he didn't get it. So what was happening is the artist was doing the exact same thing as the psychiatrist, and they were doing basically passive resistance. So they were making it seem like they knew what they were talking about. And just like with the psychiatrist, as soon as I start asking him about the questions, then he didn't respond. And just like with the artist. So the artist was telling me about DBT and everything and basically questioning my work passively. And so what I did with both of them is I flipped the script. And then as soon as it was time for them to give an account for their actions, the artist criticized me, told me I was in my ego, I didn't get it, and all these other things. But the artist wasn't paying attention to the fact that that's the exact same thing that he was doing to me. So when the script got flipped, he didn't know what to do. And this whole notion of people saying, well, you're doing this and you're doing that. Again, that's why I had the secondary search with chat. Because I'm like, yeah, no, I ain't doing that. And I felt it yesterday. And it felt different. I was like, no, my ACC is saying this is different. This ain't that. And no, you're not agreeing with me. And the other thing that Chat and I said, so as we go forward, is when somebody is really interested in what you're doing, because that's what I did to him. I said, well, where's your art at? Where is it? Is it on Instagram? Are you in a gallery? Where are you? So when you actually want to know, he never asked me one question about my actual work. He just kept saying, well, it must be like this. Well, it must be like this. Why aren't you finishing the book? So that was the other notification that he was not actually interested in what I was actually saying. And that's why he couldn't hear what I was saying, because he didn't really actually respect what I was saying, because he had put me in one place in his brain, and identity protection kept him in that place. Yes, you did flip it, and they couldn't stand on their own beliefs and experiences. Exactly. And that was the whole point. And I've learned to do that to shift the power. Reel you in. Okay, cool. Got it. Now let's talk about you and yours and your website that needs to be redone. And your art is stuck because he was not expecting that. You're stuck. And so you're going to need to get unstuck from up here to actually do some great work, because this is cool, but you got potential, but it's not actually extraordinary yet. And I compare him to my favorite artist, Pablo Picasso, in the blue phase, because Pablo Picasso's blue phase was in the middle. And then after that, all these other extraordinary works showed up, but he didn't catch that as an artist. So that's what happens when you are multidimensional versus two-dimensional, operating like you in 5K, in 5D. So the point is, ladies and gentlemen, that the ACC, this vACC, is the problem in every human relationship. His video interview, he didn't want to hear your thoughts on it at all. Right, because he told me, I said you need videos, and then he didn't have it. So then I started to tell him he needs to go to Toastmasters because the first word out of his mouth after they asked him the question was So he was not prepared to interview. But he was not prepared for me either. Because again, when you think you know something and you see me presenting as a person that just has exactly. He was not prepared for that. He thought he was about to grill me, but he didn't know that I don't have a problem with solicit feedback as one of the 74 principles of real leadership. But I'm not going to solicit feedback from a dysregulated motherfucker. That's why there are no peer reviews, because there's no peers to review me. I don't have any regulated peers doing work similar to mine. So what are we reviewing? Nothing. Y'all dysregulated too. Y'all the reason why we're in these fucking predicaments that we're in now. So no, we will not be reviewing if I know what I'm talking about. The only thing that a person can do in academia is they can start on level 1 like everybody else, and they can go through the neuro reps just like everybody else. And then when they get to 365 consecutive days, we could revisit it and then see what we're talking about. But there is no, well, where did you get your information from? Not from y'all. Y'all information is how we are exactly where we are right now. All y'all peer review information and research is why humanity is the way it is. And I'm not talking about the medical improvements in Alzheimer's and all of the rest of that. I'm talking about the human behavior, the adult, everyday adult brain walking around untrained. That's what I'm talking about. Dealing with these emotional relationships that they're neurologically inept to even be in. So yeah, y'all got us to where we are right now. Why would I allow you to review my work? That makes no neurological sense. An idiot with somebody with no strong prefrontal cortex and no emotional regulation would think that that would be something. I don't need you to approve of me. Mine works and yours doesn't. I already did it. And on that note, here are your 2 questions for the day. What did you learn today, and what did you learn about yourself? And if you need to go ahead and put your answer in the chat. I will read it so that it is on there for the replay. What did you learn today, and what did you learn about yourself? I learned that I'm a bad motherfucker for real. That's what I learned. And what I learned about myself is I'm a bad motherfucker. 2 things can be true at the same time. I learned to listen to my ACC and my Insula. And once again, I did not make highlights. I got to remember to do that. I'm about to put this on my tablet for me to remember. So we got Daisy, Monique, and Regina thinking. What did you learn today? And what did you learn about yourself? Regina said, I learned that there are 3 ACCs. Ain't that something? The dorsal and the cognitive one are the same. The one just says what and the other one says where. So the dorsal tells you what's taking place, and then the cognitive ACC, where is the dorsal? What is what you're going to do is the cognitive one. Jared said, yeah, I learned today that there are 3 ACCs. Oh, wait, some more. I apologize. See, it scrolled up again. Okay, Monique, I learned today that the vACC allows us to endure things in order to maintain relationships, but actually relationships needs regulation and mutual competence, and that happens in the cACC. Yes, ma'am. And I'm telling y'all, I experience it with Nola every single day, and it is night and day. It is night and day when somebody actually has full cognition of their brains and you have to live with them. Night and day. Daisy said, I learned today that I need to strengthen cognitive ACC, and there are 3 ACCs. Nola said, I learned more about the ACCs. I want to look up more on chat later. Yeah, that's part of your real leader resources anyway, so you can use that as your question. Jared said, I learned today about myself that I must protect my peace at all costs. At all costs. Remember, the cognitive ACC is weighing the cost benefits. And people used to tell me, you too logical, and that's not how relationships work. And you want everything. I sure do. I sure do. I didn't know then why I wanted it. I just knew that shit wasn't working. Monique said, today I learned about myself that I look and feel good when I'm single, and that is not what society encourages, and that I am saying no to relationships that drain my life force. I had a friend of a wise counsel remind me today of what I looked like when I was tied to that toxic people and I was withering away. This is not a coincidence in timing that we spoke about this today. Exactly. Nola said I looked like a South African ambassador when I was pregnant with her going to church. And nothing wrong with a South African ambassador. It's just not who I needed to be. I learned about myself. I'm not with compliance. And then Regina said, I learned about how a weak ventral medial ACC, it's just the ventral ACC, has really had a negative impact on my life. I appreciate understanding why I suffered, and also know that I no longer suffer because my prefrontal cortex is so strong. I learned a lot, but a highlight from the notes is loyalty can lead to failure. No prize for enduring. It is no prize for enduring. And Daisy said, I learned about myself today. I don't need anyone disrupting my peace. Exactly. Exactly. And it's not that these systems function better. It's that no one sat down to actually say, how can these concepts, family, work, job, religious affiliations, or anything else, how can anything related to people function better? Well, people have to function better, and then it will function better. Well, how do you get people to function better? You teach them how the brain functions, and then they will be high functioning, and then everything that you do will be high functioning. So it will be great to go to the store and the produce is good. It will be great to go to self-checkout and self-checkout works. It will be great to go to work and everybody came ready to do their job, so you get out of there on time and go do whatever you want to do. It would be great to get what you paid for when you pay for something. That's what I'm talking about. Your day-to-day life would be extraordinary because people wouldn't be imagined. And think about it this way, for all of us who endured these relationships. Were you your best at your employment at the time that you were in those relationships? Were you the best friend, the best parent, the best aunt, the best pet owner? No, you weren't, because that doggone boa constrictor emotionalized existence was stopping you. You couldn't think straight. So how could you be your best if everything is attached to the ventral ACC? You weren't at optimal performance because the doggone cognitive ACC was weak. So every message that came in, Becky just gave it to Cody, and Cody gave it to Janice, and then the basal ganglia and amygdala did shit to stay safe with this stupid ass emotional relationship. So we don't even have access to people's best. That's why fuck therapy and everything else, because they want you to get the normal. How you gonna get the normal when you don't know that the ventral ACC is the reason why you can't function properly? How? See how that doesn't work? No one is telling you when you go to therapy where you got to strengthen your prefrontal cortex. That's how all of this is going to work out, so that you can have full cognition under pressure of everyday life. That's why I'm not listening to, I'm picking and choosing what I'm grabbing. And I'm using it and saying, this is why we behave like this. This has never been explained to me like this before in my adult life. I didn't even know what the hell the damn thing was. But if I wasn't growing continually and I wasn't challenging myself and I wasn't using my default mode network for what it's actually designed, which is self-reflection, I wouldn't have asked what's going on with this shit with my mama. And I wouldn't have been studying that it came from the ACC, old programming from back in the day. So then we don't get to the lesson that we are today. But now everybody got neural clarity. You look back at them photos and you like, what the hell was happening? But we all needed to be a ride or die. They said the loyalty game is wild, game to be stuck in, forget thriving. I died so many times lying to stay riding for the wrong people. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. You endured and endured and endured and endured, and all you got is endured receipts. The fuck you gonna do with that? You can't use none of that stuff. All that stuff is toxic and poisonous. You got to discard all of that. You can use it as a lesson, With that, you can't use it for nothing else. You can be like, yeah, so when I was getting gaslit for 5 years, here's what I learned from my Stockholm syndrome. No, you can't use that. Y'all don't hear me saying, so when I was married and we used to sit and talk after church with our big dinner that I made, you ain't heard me say that shit. I can't use none of that. None of it. The doggone blender, I still use that blender to doggone make mashed potatoes and whipped yams, but that's it. So that's why I'm saying I'm not listening to those people anymore. None of their shit worked. I did all their shit. None of the shit worked. Not a doggone thing worked. There you go. All right, Regina, have a great day. And we got to go too. So in summary, ladies and gentlemen, we will be unpacking more and more of the brain. And anytime I get some new information, I will give it to you. And if I get some updated information, I will give that to you. Part of the problem is they can't agree on shit. Some people can't. I mean, we finally got to 86 billion neurons because somebody finally doggone counted them. So while they say peer review and look at stuff and get information from a trusted source, I can't trust y'all as the source because y'all got dysregulated brains making these damn decisions. So I got to take it with a grain of salt and say, does this apply to the work that I'm actually applying to my work? Can I use this in my work so that it does work, so that best is the goal? Fuck functioning and normal. Ain't nobody got time for that. Extraordinary, badass, bad mofo, best, creme de la creme, high standards, above and beyond. Because that's why you got 86 billion neurons. You hear that bar, Jared, if you're still on here? That's what this is about. This is about being as the best that you could possibly be and then add a little bit more bam on that, best to the 10th power. And the only way you do that is to master this hour by the hour. You ain't gonna get there no other way. There is no other way other than strengthening your doggone brain with neural reps every single day. You can't do it no other way. There ain't no life hacks for this. The brain hack is to do it every day. Strengthen your brain every single day. Study the brain, master the brain, teach others how to do the same, and the people in the world will forever be changed. So you can navigate through your day-to-day life successfully. That's what this work is about for me. I thank you for your time and space. I knew we weren't going to be able to get a brain bit done today because of this. So we are either talking about social judgment theory tomorrow, and the brain bit is going to be about the dorsal ACC, if I can keep it small and succinct, which I think that will be the best thing so that you can understand the social judgment theory, because it falls in line with everything we're saying in order for you to start stripping off this nonsense, useless, emotionalizing bullshit that is basically pointless and is neurologically taxing. So we don't need it. It's like wisdom teeth. Pull that shit out and throw it away, an appendix. We don't need it. I told y'all, you don't need dysregulation to be regulated. You don't need it. So God willing, higher power in the universe, I will be back tomorrow, same time, same place, safe space, different brain t-shirt. Brain t-shirts are available on my Amazon shop. Go to the website, turnarounddoctor.com. Click on the left menu, Amazon shop. Feel free to shop and get your brain t-shirts there. You all go off and have a brain-tastic day. I will be taking my shower, potentially shaving my head. I think I got an ingrown hair, but if not, by 8 o'clock a.m., somewhere around there, Pacific Standard Time, your neuro reps will be ready for you, and I will see whomever is available tomorrow. Adios.